So are you in Toastmasters? So we'll get into like the meat of the story real quick.
Yeah.
So are you in Toastmasters here at Coastal?
I am not.
Okay. So how did you get involved with Toastmasters in the prison?
Actually, so Dr. Muck is my advisor too.
Right.
And when we had my advising meeting, I was like, I have no idea what to do for my thesis.
Right.
I have these really cool like interests in criminal justice and communications, but I don't know what to do about that. And she was like, well, my Toastmasters club has a prison club, so you should probably think about that, or you could think about that. And whenever I started my capstone class, I asked her for more information because I thought that I could definitely use that, and it just kind of all worked out.
Nice. And so can you just explain like what you went to the prison and did?
Yeah, so Dr. Muck told me about this event that the volunteers were having, and I contacted the lead volunteer, Miss Jody Randisi, and I said, can I come and see what's going on? And she said, yeah, of course. So I drove down to Hilton Head and stayed with her and her husband, and the next morning we went to Ridgeland Correctional Institution.
Okay.
And they had almost a full day. It was from like 10 to 2. And I got to sit in the chapel with all the inmates and the volunteers. She had guest volunteers come too.
Right.
And some of them gave speeches and some of them just observed. And there was about 30 inmates, I would say, that are part of that club there. And I got to learn all about the different positions that they can have in their club and everything that they can learn as far as leadership skills, public speaking skills, communication skills, and they were just so nice and so welcoming. Right. It was really awesome.
Cool. And was it different, or was it as you were expecting when you went into this situation?
So it was kind of different because it's a men's medium security prison.
Right.
And as a young woman, I was worried about being catcalled or stared at, kind of in an uncomfortable situation, but it wasn't like that at all. They were so nice to me and just, like I said, welcoming, and it was life-changing, really.
Really?
Yeah, because like media and everything that we see about prisons, it makes it seem like a really scary place full of scary people.
Right.
But I didn't feel that way at all. Like, we didn't even have a guard in the chapel with us.
Yeah.
I was just hanging out with them, and they hanging out with me, I guess. Yeah, so it was fine.
That's interesting to say that, coming from your criminal justice background, that's, it was, so different than what you thought it was, because I guess the media plays a huge role in what we think and what we perceive of any situation, but especially like incarcerated people. So that's interesting. Did you hear any stories from the inmates that may have touched you in a deeper way?
I didn't hear really any stories, but the things that they said to me really touched me. Like, my favorite stories to tell are whenever they were serving lunch, I went to the bathroom and I came back and everybody had taken all the green beans. There weren't any left. And so I came back and I said, oh my gosh, you guys, no more green beans? Yeah. And one guy had his plate with green beans on it and he was like, do you want mine?
Oh,
I was like, no, I don't want your green beans. Yeah. But it was just like he's in prison. Yeah. Like, he doesn't get to eat good food. Right. And he was offering me his green beans. Like, that's
true.
It was crazy. And then whenever everybody was leaving, one of them came up to me because Miss Randisi had introduced me and said I'm a student and doing my thesis and stuff. And so they all knew that. And one of them came up to me at the end and was like, I just want to let you know that it's such an inspiration to see you going to school outside that it makes me want to keep going to school inside.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, that's the nicest thing. Like, anybody saying that is so nice, but especially for someone who's incarcerated and doesn't have very many options. I mean, that's really nice.
You're an inspiration to them, even.
I mean, come on. Like, that's so nice.
What was the age range like for the 30 or so prisoners that you met?
All over the board.
Oh, okay.
Some young guys, some really old guys. Yeah.
And do you have a main hypothesis or question for your thesis that you kind of surrounding your research on?
I really just wanted to look at the benefits of inmates learning these sort of communication skills. Yeah. Because, I mean, it seems like they kind of wound up in the situation they're in probably because they didn't have very good communication skills.
Right.
So I just wanted to see if they're learning things that will help them stay out of trouble when they get out.
Cool. Well, would you recommend people, do experiences like this, like, go out into these places where you may feel uncomfortable and learn and hear people talk and just kind of get to know, like, people outside of your bubble?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Every day if you can.
Yeah.
I mean, it changed the way I see things.